Welcome in to the Monday OT right here in our Viking News On Demand studios, and we've got a lot of great things in store for this program, not just tonight, but in the future. Tonight we have Coach Teddy Pettigrew and also Coach Greg Lennon with us. The junior high and senior high coaches, head coaches will be with us this evening, and we are going to talk about games on Tuesday night for junior high. This week was South Gibson County Middle School, and then for the high school on Friday night, they hosted Grace Christian Academy from Franklin, Tennessee. So a lot of great things coming up in this program. Soon, we are going to have Mr. Ted Martin join us on a Monday night OT. We're also going to try to spotlight some students and see what all we can do there. So tonight's going to be just a basic show to get the first one out, but we are excited about the future of the Monday OT right here on Viking News On Demand. Before we go to the interview with Coach Greg Lennon, this show tonight's going to be about 30 minutes, but I want to make sure and mention our sponsors at least twice. Baskerville Funeral Home, the Centennial Bank, Good Old Cookin', Humboldt Booster Club, the Humboldt High School Class of 93, Humboldt Public Library, Security Bank and Trust, Tyson Foods, and Willis Notary Services. You want to hear from the coaches, and I do as well. Let's go to our interview with Coach Greg Lennon as we discussed the recap of Tuesday night's game and looking ahead to Thursday night, McKenzie. Appreciate Coach Greg Lennon with the junior high football team taking a moment for us today as we are interviewing him for the Monday OT that will air Monday night. Coach Lennon, I know you've had a few days to look at the film. You're already into the film for this week's game, but before we talk about this week versus McKenzie, and yes, folks, you heard that correct, the game has been changed to playing McKenzie on Thursday night in Humboldt this week instead of Northeast. Coach Lennon, you've had some time to look at South Gibson film. What was kind of the bird's eye view of something that you took away from that game at South Gibson?
Well, Coach, it was a whole lot of. We had a lot of kids injured. We had a lot of kids injured, and I basically set a lot of kids down for the reasons of not acting right in school. You know, that's part of football. So
yes,
we got to set example. We got to set example right now. So I already said it early and get these kids prepared for life and for the next level, you know. So this is where it started at junior high football. So we got to teach them, you know. You got to be coachable. You got to be that student athlete. You got to be a student athlete. You're a student athlete before you're an athlete. So that's my whole goal, is getting our kids on the right track. And if it takes me to lose a game, oh well. And I think it'll help in the long run.
Yes, sir. Well, I think your second half was very encouraging. I was looking at some of that here, and it was a very good second half. At the half, you were only down 12-0, and when you look at, and I know you don't want to say it was refs, and I understand that completely, but, man, you wasn't able to get a call that would go your way in the entire first half. But you didn't do yourself any favors either with false start penalties.
Oh, yes, that kills us. Discipline. That's part of being disciplined. And like I say, you know, it discourages my kids a lot. Don't get me wrong. You know, but I know that's a part of the game. You know, and like I say, that's a part of life. Every call ain't going to be your way, but you just going to have to fight out of it. And that's what I'm trying to teach my kids. You're going to get some bad calls. You're going to get bad calls, but you got to buckle down and do what you've been taught to do. Like I tell them, winning the game starts in practice.
Yes, sir.
You know, it starts in practice. If you don't give 100% in practice, you can't give 100% in the game. Your body is not going to be adjusted to give 100%.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah,
that's where like I told my kids, I took that loss. You know, because they weren't prepared enough. They still not in shape. But that's my job to do, is get them where they need to be done, and we working on it, and it's getting better each week. So, you know, these not just games for us that we just played, you know, but a loss is still a loss.
That's right.
And, so we just prepared for this week, this McKenzie game. We done prepared well, been preparing well for this McKenzie game, and that's what we looking forward to this week. And, you know, let's tell my guys, you know, however it fall, long as you give me 100%, I'm fine with whatever the school say. But if they give me 100% and do as they're taught to do, I think we'll be very set very well.
Yes, sir. I know, again, you go to the half at 12-0. What was your halftime speech to your team to kind of motivate them, hoping to come out and get on the scoreboard?
Yes, I went in there and just explained it to them. Well, I know this score right here, we can score at any moment. I wasn't worried about that. It was about them not producing and not giving me all they need to be given.
Yeah.
Because we could score at will 12 points. That wasn't my concern. It was just how they were playing, not being disciplined to false starts, and just getting out there and just humbling themselves down and playing football. That's all I needed them to do.
And the third quarter kind of started out a little different. They come out. It was South Gibson ball, and the first drive right out of the gate, they march down the field. They score. You're down 20-0, and but the false start penalties just continued into that second half. Hopefully, this week those penalties won't be an issue. Something else I was kind of surprised by, the blocking up front. It was kind of suspect as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was very. That's what. A lot of people with us, that's what I tell everybody. Fifth and sixth grade football help us tremendously. And with us being out with the pandemic, we're not able to have the fifth and sixth grade football. I had a group of sixth graders came up that had never played ball, so I had to go into teaching mode. So my offensive line is very young, and but like I say, I take on the challenge. They're getting better. Like I say, I really wish I would have had the opportunity for them to play fifth and sixth grade football, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. So
yeah,
we starting with some beginners, but they getting better. I can say that.
Yes, sir. Well, they end up going up. It was like 26-0, and then you were able to get points on the board with, I think it was 5:12 left in the game. And Coach Lennon, this is your first game as a head coach. How frustrating was it that their scoreboard wasn't on and working?
It was very frustrating to me. I know them tactics. They told me that the scoreboard was out due to technical problems, but that's $1 million. That's $1 million lighting system. So it just didn't sit well with me. But like I tell my kids, we just got to play through whatever. We got to play through whatever, and we had a bad call that, man, I'm talking about. It dropped had my kid. I got a young group, so it dropped their heads tremendously. It's just like we fought to get in. We get an interception and run it back, and they call it back and get a fumble and recovery. They took it back from us, man. It was wild, and I got to teach my kids to be able to work through adversity. That's just the main thing. They just gonna have to be able to do that.
That's right, and they'll learn it. They got on the board, and we got the 2-point conversion with 5:12 left in the game, and also that you had a fumble return that was called back. That was another thing that was huge. Kelsey Rose picked up that fumble and ran it all the way in, and then we found out they called that one back, and then. You also, though, you did have a fumble that was returned for a touchdown at the end of the game. And that was kind of a great way to go out as you fell 24-16 over at South Gibson. And, Coach, you had some interceptions that were dropped as well. I know there was one that was dropped. It was right in his hands. Another one, and I think you had some troubles with your corners, playing defense. There was one pass that was overthrown, and you had a guy, I thought if he would have ran toward the ball, he would have had it.
He would have had an interception. Like I say, I got a group of young guys, and they getting it, but they slow at learning. It's like I tell them, you got to be on instinct. Everything is on instinct, and we had a good little slow start, but at the end of the game, I feel like we finished up well. By that going into this game, I think my guys a little better prepared. This is gonna be a big game because this is McKenzie team. So, we're playing bigger schools, and so even even though it's a 1A school, they have a lot more kids than we do at this level playing.
Yeah. Well, you're playing a McKenzie team. Let's go ahead and move toward that game. I know you want to put this last game in the rearview mirror. It doesn't have any playoff implications. McKenzie is not in the TMSSAA, are they?
No, they're not.
So this would not have playoff implications either, but it's going to show some growth in this team, hopefully, on Thursday night. It is a home game at Barker Memorial Stadium, everybody. You want to make sure and get some – we need some fans in the stands cheering on these kids and getting them some support here in those stands. And I was a little disappointed in that. I want some more fans to show up than what did last week. And hopefully we'll see that here as these young kids learn to play. And you was talking about injuries. Is there anything kind of lingering over into this game, or is it just some bumps in the road?
It just some bumps in the road. I got one kid out with an ankle problem. But I got a lot of bumps in the road. He's young, it's football. You're gonna be sore,
That's right.
So we just trying to get them. They eager to get back out on the field. Like I said, my main thing is making sure they do what they need to do in school and at home.
Yeah.
And when they do that, I know they'll bring it to the football field. So, that's my whole goal in life is making sure my kids be successful.
Yes, sir.
And raised the right way and going about everything the right way,
So you're looking at McKenzie. What do you see on film, and what do you expect from them coming up Thursday night?
I see a good physical football game. Just one at the line of scrimmage. They got talented kids just as well as we do. So, I know, like I tell my kids, we done prepared. Now let's go play the game and do what we taught to do, and let's go win. Play humble football.
Yes, sir. Well, that sounds great, Coach. And I'll give you the final word here and let you kind of talk to fans and close out this interview here.
I just love the fans just come out and support our junior Vikings. These kids have worked hard, and they support of our town, and we really appreciate you coming out and giving us a good look. We out to fight and win for Humboldt.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Coach. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule for us today, and go Vikings.
Go Vikings.
That was Coach Greg Lennon as we talked about the Tuesday night loss 24-16 to the South Gibson County Middle School Hornets. However, this coming week on Thursday night, now there was a change on the schedule, and I know we've mentioned that quite a bit on the interview, but I want to make sure to mention we had Northeast on the schedule. They have been replaced by McKenzie this coming Thursday night, and we'll see how that game goes. We plan to be there for the Humboldt Chronicle, and I'll have some notes, maybe some pictures that'll be dropped here on Viking News on Demand the day after or so. So you don't want to miss all of that coming up right here. So make sure you stay connected to us. VikingNewsOnDemand.com has information about us. Also, our Facebook page is our most active. And then this is also posted on YouTube. Our videos are now, not the pictures, obviously. But a lot of great things happening right here at Viking News on Demand. We're staying very, very busy, and it's a very busy time. You have volleyball, you have junior high, senior high football, and we're excited to be here. And thank you to the Humboldt City School System for allowing us to do this program and allowing us full access to these teams, and we appreciate it. Well, we did get a chance to stop and talk to Coach Teddy Pettigrew today about the Friday night loss to Grace Christian as we lost 46-8. But the score doesn't really tell the tale. So why don't you take a listen to this interview? This is Coach Teddy Pettigrew, the head Viking football coach of the senior high varsity team. Welcome back into the Monday OT. We have Coach Teddy Pettigrew with us this afternoon. And, Coach, I know Friday night didn't necessarily end the way that you wanted to. I'm sure there's plenty of things that you were able to take out of that game. First off, I know everybody's wondering about the injuries and that kind of thing. I know we had a couple of guys that went down Friday night, and it's early in the week. I know that you probably can't really give a lot of information there, but do we think it's going to be long-term injuries, or do we think it'll be hopefully a quick comeback?
I think it'll be a quick comeback. These kids, they bounce back fast. We just, got to respond by getting hit in the mouth
Yeah.
better than what we did Friday night. But as far as injuries goes, I mean, it's nothing major.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. I know when you play a Christian school like that, it's a little different dynamic. This Friday night, you head to Brewston. Brewston allowed right around 260 yards on the ground. That would be a little change for us from Friday night. I know we didn't do a whole lot of running the ball. That was probably more scheme-wise on your side. Do you expect the kind of the same layout on offense, or what are you thinking for this Friday night?
I mean, we went into Friday night expecting to run the ball. We blew some assignments up front, and when you blow assignments, you don't have success in the beginning.
Yeah.
Play call becomes limited.
Yeah.
That's one thing that we've gotta narrow down is not to make those mistakes and to carry out our assignments that we practice all week.
Yeah.
It was we had a good week of practice last week, and I was shocked that our kids this week. I mean, they just didn't respond well to the start of the game and getting hit in the mouth and everything. And again, it's the first game of the season. I mean,
Yes.
We have got to get better as the season goes. Now, I fully expect for us to get better as the season goes longer.
We saw some flashes of some good things. The great pass by Jaquari McCurry down the sideline there to number 13, Kavion Taylor. And that was the arm that we've all been talking about, how that, he's just got to get more consistent.
Yes, you got to get more consistent. Then I mean, we got to give him time to step up in the pocket and throw the ball. We got to protect him better. I mean, he can be a great quarterback for us and really put up some big numbers. We've got the receivers out on the edges. We have the speed. We just got to protect him better up front. And that's when, like I told the team, we're not going to blame anyone. We're going to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Do what I'm going to do. I'm going to go home and I'm going to look in the mirror first. So it's all of our faults. It's nobody's fault. It's the team's fault, including the coaches.
So, give us a little insight into Coach Pettigrew's thought processes here. Do you go back and you let them see, kind of highlights of what you want them to see from that game Friday night? How much do you watch Friday night's film, and then how quickly do you transfer over to look into Brewston?
Well, I mean, after today, watch the film today, that would be over with. We put that in the past, and we move on to Brewston. Coaches, we know what we have to do to fix things, and we shifted the dynamics of practice. It'll be a little challenging practice, a little more challenging practice, but not that much of a challenging practice. Just we shifted the way we're doing things in practice, just in a sense of urgency. I had to call a couple of timeouts because we were about to get the leg game, and that's just being able to get on our game field with the game clock and we got to script that stuff. We got to practice that stuff. So. Yeah. We're gonna do some things that we did last year towards the end of the season, and I believe that brought about a lot of success last year. So we'll continue to do those things.
Yes, sir. And really, penalties were not a major factor. I know there was a couple there that were in opportune times. I think more of a factor was what you're talking about the play clock and having to use your timeouts when you probably could have. In a closer game, you would have wanted those timeouts at the end of the game for sure.
I would have. That would have came back to hurt us if I needed those timeouts.
Yeah, definitely so. You go into the half trailing 32-0. What was your message to the team? I mean, obviously there's still a lot of ball to play.
I mean, going back to fundamentals. I mean, the things that we did in practice were not what the guys were doing out on the field. Then at the same time, it's kind of hard to judge the speed of the game with practice.
Yes.
Of course, the first we're going to put our best 11 athletes out on the field, and the other guys who are going against them. I mean, I've got to get them to understand they've got to compete in practice in order to prepare them.
Yeah,
that's how they get better, and that's how they get opportunity to play when they compete in practice against the first team. But I mean, it's a work in progress, and we'll get there. We'll get it done.
It does seem like maybe we're a little deeper this year on the depth chart. Is that a correct perspective there, or am I overlooking something?
I'm not going to say we're a little deeper. We're trying to find guys who are going to play.
Okay.
Who can play. I mean, that preseason is kind of you try to judge whether or not you have a lot of depth in each position, but at the same time, I mean, you never know until you get them out there on Friday nights. So that's the reason why you saw a lot of guys play Friday night, and you'll see a lot of guys play this Friday night.
Okay.
The ones who make the bus, put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were aware of it. We did not have our 42 guys fully dressed out on the sideline. That's
Right.
Also some team rules that were broken. I did not let them dress.
Yeah. Well, that's key, and some things are more important than football, and you're instituting those things, and I appreciate that, Coach. I'm looking here just kind of quickly across some stat lines, and I mean it really doesn't look terrible when you look at kind of how the game went. I don't think that score really shows how your defense played, though, Coach. I mean, 46 points looks like a lot of points, but that defense, I was very, very happy. They were going to give you a full dose of green there in that first half. They wasn't going to hold off, and you stopped that run quite a bit, forcing them to go to the air.
Yeah, and that's what we were. That going into our game plan, that's what we wanted to do, is make them throw the ball. But at the same time, we blew a lot of assignments with them throwing the ball.
Yes.
We left receivers open. We gave them too much cushion. We backpedaled when we should have just buzzed our feet and played our catch techniques. I mean, we blew a lot of assignments, and it looked like we weren't prepared for them throwing the ball, but we were. We did it in practice.
Yeah.
I mean, day after day, we scripted, we repped it, but at the same time, when those lights come on, it's a different atmosphere.
Yes.
It's totally different.
That's exactly right. That leads me to my last question, Coach. I know you got to go, but you lost 15 seniors last year. You got 6 seniors this year. Now you have a really big sophomore class. Did you see a lot of student leadership on the sideline, or is that something we hope to grow into this season?
That's one thing we're trying to push the seniors that we do have into, is to be leaders. I mean, this is it for them.
Yeah.
And everything that the underclassmen do, it's a reflection of the leadership that we have on the team. And with great leaders, we see great things happening out on the field. And I mean, we do have some guys who have that ability. They just have to step up and be more vocal, because they do it when it comes to being accountable, to being on time, and to showing up every day and working hard. But at the same time, there's no one's being a vocal leader, and you need that.
Yeah,
you need that. You need guys to challenge each other.
Yeah, that's definitely the case, and I think you'll see that grow as we go along the season. We saw major changes. Obviously, you don't want it to happen that way every year, as far as the first of the season be a major struggle, and then the end of the season kind of be where we turn it on. But if there's a time to get hot, that's the time definitely to start playing your best ball. And I know we've talked about in the Gridiron of the Chronicle, we talked about how the Heat had kind of hindered a little bit of the offseason process. Have we started kind of overcoming that? I know you're being able to be outside now.
It's cooler, so we're able to be outside. But I mean, you look at those teams who have indoor facilities or have the ability to have a gym, access to a gym always. I mean, it's their programs are. I mean, they make tremendous gains because the heat does not affect them.
Yeah.
This is one thing that, we gotta build a program here, and then hopefully the community will take care of us. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know the resources of Humboldt. I know there's a lot of industry in Humboldt, but it would be great for our student athletes, and I'm talking about across the board.
Yeah.
Every sport in Humboldt to have the ability to practice in an indoor facility if the weather does not permit to go outside.
Yes, sir.
We could involve ourselves in 7-on-7 leagues in the off season. I mean, which you can do that in the off season if you have an indoor facility. If you don't have an indoor facility, you're kind of left out of that situation, that equation. So, I mean, that just gives you your timing, and it'll give you the ability to be on the same page, and you don't have to try to implement all those things just in 1 month in the summer.
Yes, sir.
You'll have time to get it done in all season, the whole all season. You can get that stuff done. So.
Well, Bruce,
it's kind of like travel basketball or AAU basketball and travel baseball, but you're doing it with 7-on-7 in the 7-on-7 league of football. Which you don't have the ability to do that if you don't have indoor. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. Hopefully that's in the works. Hopefully it'll be in our future as we can get some success here and get the community behind it. I really hope that happens soon. You're traveling to Hollow Rock, Brewston. It is a non-district game Friday night, but that doesn't mean it don't mean anything to us. We definitely would love to come out of there with a win and 1-1 record coming back, because you're going to be facing a West Carroll team in that first part of September who really, really showed out in front of the lights Friday night. They always have a great team on the field, and I know I really appreciate you taking time for us today, Coach, and I know you'll have the players ready Friday night as we take the 45-minute, actually it's a 45-mile trek. It's about an hour down to Brewston, and I'll give you kind of the final word here to the community and all of those Viking supporters listening to the Monday OT tonight.
I mean, I appreciate the support that the Viking community, the Viking Nation is giving our team.
Yes.
It's continued to support us and encourage us as we get better during the season. And hopefully, man, we will not make you guys, it will not be in vain. We will make you guys happy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, good luck Friday night, Coach, and we will talk to you a little closer to game time here on Viking News on Demand for the pregame show, and we'll work all of that out soon. Thank you so much for taking time for us today.
All right. Thank you, Seth. Have a good day, man.
That was Coach Pettigrew right here on the Monday OT with Viking News on Demand here in our studios. We want to mention one more time before we get out of here today, our sponsors. Thank you so much to the Humboldt Public Library, Willis Notary Services, the Baskerville Funeral Home, Tyson Foods, Centennial Bank, also Security Bank and Trust, the Humboldt High School class of '93, Good Old Cookin', and the Humboldt Viking Booster Club. Thank you so much for tuning in to this program tonight. Don't forget, we're going to have some pictures coming up of a volleyball game that actually has just ended at the Humboldt High School. It should be coming up here in the next day or so. And then also we will have pictures coming up from the Thursday night junior high game coming up on Friday. And then on Friday evening, we are going to take the trip down to Brewston. And we will be at the Brewston Hollow Rock Stadium there as the Humboldt Vikings travel to take on the Humboldt Vikings. Or I'm sorry, to take on the Brewston Tigers, rather. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. I'll just put it that way. It's been something else. Appreciate you joining us on this Monday night. We'll do this every week. And again, I want to mention we're going to try to bring a player spotlight in very, very soon. And even have Mr. Ted Martin join us on the program, giving a former player's perspective. And he always watches the games right here on Viking News on Demand when he cannot be in the stadium. Now, this last week, he was able to join us in the booth at halftime and talk a little bit, so we gave him the day off today. Thank you so much for joining us on this Monday. God bless you. Have a great rest of your week.